So my cousin Daniel, we were talking on the phone today. Everybody say hi, Daniel. There you go, Daniel. I hope you feel welcome. He asked me a question that a lot of people have asked me. What in the heck is a spork? So here's the deal. If it's not a utensil, which is a combination of a fork and a spoon, spork, two weird things put together, it's the name given to that model right there. 4R15-00D0, the Spork. This is one of those, it's one of those models that has a nickname that is actually entirely correct, like the Stargate. And much like the Stargate, this was named on the old forum. This was long before everything got a name. So anyway, there it is. It's the reason it's called a spork, the reason why this is this is why design-wise it has two elements crashing together. Pilot's watch, dive watch. So it's two things put together. You're saying, well, why in the heck is it a pilot's watch? Well, let me tell you. So this right here, that is a World War II, this is a World War II mechanical chronograph, a wind-up that was used for fighter planes and bombers to be able to, and it's a chronograph, to be able to calculate blind flying, specifically, I believe, landing with zero visibility. So you have a chronograph. This is real. World War II, there's actually a fair amount of these you can still find because American servicemen, GIs, going through Germany would come across all these different, destroyed and abandoned airfields, complete with destroyed and abandoned planes, and they all had clocks. And so these things, they show up a lot. People steal this. They didn't take any of the other stuff. But it's pretty cool. That's 100% original. So you can see what the actual military design was to begin with. I guess I can, I don't know what I can do. Okay, so there we go. We've got our background. So you can see the similarity in design. They even used, amazingly, look at that. They used very similar font. Very similar font. Case is solid stainless steel in every point. The crown is a screw-down crown, and it has the typical Seiko big single gasket system. It's not a, it's not like a trip lock like a Rolex. But these crowns with this single big in the tube crown gasket, they work really, really well. Seiko's been using them for a really long time, and they're good for, they're good for some real depth. So I think the system works fine. I would prefer if it were a little more secure, but believe me, this works just fine. On the strap, it's not that heavy. As usual, if you're on the bracelet, whoa Nelly. The movement on these is a 22 joule 4R15. 15 means it only has date. 16 is date 8. Sorry, the 4R and the 6R came out of that. They're both upgraded in how they're built. The 6R has hacking and hand winding. This one lacks those more advanced features, but it has the mainspring is made of a proprietary alloy that Seiko has called Sprawn. And so in theory, this thing has a 50-hour power reserve. I have never tried it, but there it is. It beats at 21.6. It's respectable. That's a real solid, normal rate. I mentioned earlier about the proportions, how Seiko, with their divers, they like to have a slightly smaller dial and a slightly larger insert. It's this sort of functional balance. You can really see it here with this golden tuna. The knurling and everything else like that. It has that feeling. This has those same proportions. Here's a 7549-7010. these two went together, and you can see there is that kind of like the Marine Master. This one looks a little bit like it looks a little bit like a tuna that doesn't have its bezel. It has a very tuna-y knurling on this. And that's what that's for, those grips. You can see it, if you ask me, you can see a lot of the similarities here between these two because they were produced at the same time. They have that same sort of, you know, 2000s aesthetic where everything is just a little bumped up. Clean, legible, glows like crazy. I still think the size works because it's a dive watch. Gosh, you want to talk about legible underwater? Holy cow. I'm still wearing the heck out of this. And for fun, let's get an earlier example of Seiko and their love of these sorts of proportions. 6105. And again, you can see that look, smaller, tighter dial with the chapter ring, and this, it presents this visual mix that other watch types typically don't do. At least the ones that I look at, and they're mostly Seiko. I don't know. I can see so many similarities in sort of the hand and the mind that designed all these pieces, because they all refer to each other, and it's, you know, it's not only it's a very Seiko design language that once you're sort of accustomed to thinking about it, you'll see it everywhere because it's one of the things that Seiko does. It's a good wearable design, very clear, very legible, flat double-sided mineral glass crystal. It is, I don't believe it's sapphire. Yeah, not sapphire. It's not sapphire. It's just standard good old Hardlex. And you'll notice no alignment issues. So anyway, they're super cool. They were the business when they first came out. I don't know how they're doing these days. They're really, to me, they're iconic of that era of watch design for Seiko. It's a cool watch, man. You want to talk about something that nobody else will nobody else will probably mistake for anything else? Maybe it's one of these. Anyway, I just wanted to talk about that for a bit. That strap is nice. Look at that thing, handmade. My cousin Daniel, he was talking about the perfection of how well this strap was sewn together. That's right, they did a really nice job. And that's it, really. I am gonna have a few more videos regarding sporkiness. I have to do a yesterday's watch review today of this, the Contra, which I would like very much to do. This is not really one of the Sporkies, but it's a plain instrument. I have a battery in this, but I still need to fully service it. So I'm gonna pull this whole thing apart and service it and get this thing ready to go. More upcoming video stuff. I finally have a new capacitor for this Gen 1 AGS Landmaster. So I'm gonna be taking this thing apart. I have never, ever taken apart one of these models. We're gonna find out how I can do it. And I'm just gonna go for it. In that video, I'm gonna do it. And that's gonna be fun. I have a bunch of other videos that I wanna make. Oh gosh, I have a whole video about the chevron I'm gonna make. Anyway, that's it for Friday night. I just thought of poking around, having watches, you know, watch fun. Might as well have some watch fun. Okay, thanks for watching.